Today we have an entitled parent throwing a fit over a gift that they picked for themselves. We'll get into that in a bit, but first, another airport entitled mother harassed me about retro gaming on my laptop. Yeah, I'm back, and with another entitled parent encounter. I seem cursed of this sort of thing because almost the exact same situation repeated itself. I was traveling for work again and cutting things close to be home for Christmas. This time it happened on a layover on my way home. My next flight wasn't to be for a few hours, so I did my usual of finding an airport cafe and plugging in my personal laptop so I wouldn't run the battery dry. This time I was playing Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. I really enjoy playing as Henry, even though his quest is so much shorter because he actually uses a gun. I had to wear headphones to avoid disturbing anyone, but eventually, I felt a small hand tugging at my pant leg. It was a small boy, probably a bit younger than the one from the last time I posted. He pointed out the bright red game controller I was using and asked what it was. He thought it was for an Xbox. Internally, I was mildly offended at that, being the retro Nintendo fan I am, but only a complete jerk would be angry at a kid for not knowing about something that existed before they were born. Plus, it's not like all people in my day were Nintendo fans. Yeah, I was one of those guys that got into console debates, and even though I never got a chance to really click with the Super Nintendo, I still defended it against the Sega Genesis, though not on a console wars level. I let my friends do those debates. Back to the situation in the airport, I was tired and not in the mood to be bothered, so I politely asked the kid to please go back to his parents and leave me be. He just stared at me like what I said didn't register, so I asked again, and when that didn't work, I asked a nearby employee for help and a coffee refill. The employee found the kid's mother nearby and ushered the boy back to her. Moments later, I was being confronted by an entitled mother dressed in all black and white, while red in the face like a bad newspaper headline, and was demanding to know what my problem was. I can't just play video games in public and expect to not attract the attention of children. I sighed because I knew exactly where this was going. Not my first rodeo after all, but in most other situations like this, I usually just get a dirty glare from the entitled parent. But after the incident in which an entitled parent destroyed my laptop, I was much more on guard. I stood up and told her it was not my job to entertain her child. It's not the job of the cafe employees or other people in the cafe either. It was her job. Either bring something for her kid to game on or find a way to entertain him herself. I don't care, but leave me out of it. She acted extremely offended and called me a giant man baby. I told her that was exactly the sort of thing a Karen would say, which only angered her further. Soon, the same employee was back and tried to break things up. She politely asked us both to calm down, but the entitled mother refused and said I should be thrown out for insulting her. I finally had enough and said I sued the last person like her who demanded I entertain their son because they broke my computer and got arrested. And there are cameras all around us to see who started what. So go ahead, try me. The entitled mother started huffing and I calmed down enough to sit back down and act polite enough to say please just leave me alone. The employee sided with me and asked her to just calm down and leave me be. The entitled mother huffed and dragged her kid away by the hand while he cried about the games. For a good while, she was repeatedly glaring at me. Her son played on what I assume was her phone, which meant she had nothing to do herself. But then they left and later came back with a coloring book and a fresh pack of crayons. I think she grabbed at the overpriced gift shop, and her son played with that till it was time to go. This isn't quite over though. That entitled mother was somehow on the same flight as me, which made the entitled mother target me during boarding. She was sure to be as close to me as possible, and her little boy had nasty gas, so he kept farting right in my direction. But I stayed silent and I kept my sunglasses on so she couldn't see where I was looking. She tried acting smug looking back at me, but the smugness was short-lived as I made sure to act completely indifferent and silent to not show any irritation. Someone else called her out on her kids farting too, and she had a short argument with them about it. She later seemed to look like she sucked on a lemon as she saw I got to board before her to go to business class, and she had to board for coach a few minutes later. She mouthed "freak you" as she went by my aisle seat. I was off the flight before the entitled mother, so I didn't see her again when leaving the airport. When my wife picked me up, I told her what happened. She rolled her eyes and called me a Karen magnet. Edit, yeah, my wife told me no one would believe me if I posted this here. She's one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. To answer why I was in the cafe and not the lounge, I go where there's a free power outlet. Plus, I wanted some good coffee. Why didn't I just explain about the games and N64 controller to the kid? Because every time I've done that with an entitled parent's kid, they don't seem to lose interest. I've been asked by kids many times while emulator gaming on my laptop, and they rarely ever care that the games are over 20 years old. They're more concerned with the fact that I have games when they're bored and have nothing else to do. And when my wife called me a Karen magnet, she wasn't joking. Most of the people who ask me about N64 gaming on my laptop just have a few questions and leave me alone. Then there's the ones who don't leave me alone. I've had numerous similar incidents in various places, but most of the time, the entitled parent takes their kid and backs off. And the incident in which a Karen entitled mother broke my laptop left me with an even shorter fuse for those people. Call me a giant man baby if you want, but I just wanted to relax and play my games in peace while waiting for my flight. Is that so wrong? I mean, I don't blame OP in the situation, especially combined with the fact that they've had bad experiences prior in very similar situations, and just in general, if you're in this place waiting for your flight to board and some snotty kid comes up to you, I would just understand in general if you're just not the kind of person that would be open to being entertaining to a kid like that. I mean, there's plenty of people who openly say they hate kids, right? Our next story is, mother says that I, female 25, should see my boyfriend, male 25 of 5 years, once a month. I'm not financially ready to live on my own, but me and my boyfriend want to move in together next year. No, I can't live with him because he's sharing a small apartment with his mother and brother. I'm back in university. I dropped out in 2020 due to my mental health. I don't regret taking a break, but my mother wants to make me feel horrible about it. She mentions it every morning and says that I should be able to handle criticism because I failed in life and have too many regrets. It's mentally draining. I don't pay rent, but I'm financially responsible for my education, insurance, public transportation, and so on. They love to concern themselves with my life anyway and think of me as a loser because I'm 25 and back in school. I'm a laughingstock and always get humiliated at family gatherings. I have 3 siblings, female 27, female 21, and female 8, and they get treated much better. I'm talking full-on financial support. Even though they both have a bad spending habit and run out of money quickly, they always side with her because of that. My boyfriend is the only good thing in my life. My mother doesn't want me to see him. They watch over me like a hawk and spam me with calls and threatening messages. My boyfriend had to calm me down so many times because I was genuinely afraid of going home after spending the night. I bet you're just 2 losers who encourage each other to fail at whatever you do. That's what she told me the other week. We haven't spoken since, and it's been more than 2 weeks. She doesn't understand why I'm distancing myself and yelled at me for being pathetic. My room is in the attic, and there are 6 flights of stairs between me and their apartment. That's why I can go days without talking to her. She's also extremely stubborn and petty, so she was playing along at first. I was both mentally and physically abused growing up, and I'm still afraid of them. I remember being 9 years old and having an evening study session with my mother. Those were heck. I sucked at math, and she has a very short temper. I could tell that she was starting to lose her crap, and I knew how this was going to end. I couldn't handle the tension and said, "If you need to beat me, then please do it." And she did. I laughed when I told my sister about it. We usually laugh at those stories, but that was the first time she felt genuinely sad for me. I guess she noticed that our stories were very different. She still doesn't understand why I don't want to apologize to my mother for ignoring her. Freak her. You know, I implore OP to move out as soon as they can. I feel so bad for anybody that's stuck in a situation like this that feels like they have no way out for the time being. I guess I would just say if there's ever a good motivator for you to become self-sufficient, it's something like this. This next story is, my family and brother destroy any Christmas cheer and spirit I have left, even after Christmas is over. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This might be my last post on here as the moving date has been set. I'll be moving out next year and away from this place I used to call home. Finally, Merry Christmas everyone and a Happy New Year. I'll start a few weeks ago. My brother recently had his birthday and he used it as an opportunity to abuse everyone without fear of consequence. During the 11th of November, Remembrance Day, and during the minute silence, he made as much noise as he could, and I tried to hold myself back after the minute had finished. His birthday week was chaotic. On his actual birthday, he whined about the presents not being in a specific size or quantity. My parents did absolutely nothing after he said this, which disgusted me. Every single day, he tormented me and told me to end things on different days. At the end of the week, we were meant to have a barbecue to commemorate his birthday. I was going to attend, but he began to verbally abuse and physically harm me, so I decided to leave and go to my partner's house. Before I left, I learned about why my parents ignored his abuse and blamed me for his actions. They told me that if they didn't see it, then it didn't happen. They didn't want to call him out for his actions as that would make them all feel bad, and if he told them something didn't happen, even if they saw it, they would ignore it, as they wouldn't want to call him a liar. According to them, I need counseling. I spent the rest of the day with my partner, which I really enjoyed. I had to come home afterward and I was instantly berated by my sibling and told to end things again. I wanted to stay with my partner and not come back here. During the weeks up to Christmas, life took a difficult turn. I tried my hardest to pick myself up while my family tried to force me back down, with my brother creating drama out of nothing to demean me while my parents took his side. Work got busier and busier, and one of my best friends there unfortunately left. I've also been doing a lot of housework, with my family not even bothering to help, even if I got overwhelmed and nauseated from the speed I'm working at. I found myself getting overworked, and I was asked to work Christmas Eve, and now I've been asked to work New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I'm currently saving up leave time for an event that'll take place next year in February. I'll get onto what happened during Christmas. I just wanted to enjoy Christmas with my family and spread holiday cheer. I wrapped most of the gifts and decorated the house, while everyone didn't even lift a finger to help. I tried very hard to make Christmas Day the best I could. But now I'm wondering why I even tried in the first place. At every moment on Christmas Day, I had my brother trying to start a fight with me. I don't know why. During our Christmas lunch, he stood up and screamed at me to shut up and freaking die, even though I was just eating. My parents didn't do anything. Every time I've tried to talk today, he's either told me to shut up, or he's been speaking over the top of me. He's been trying to exclude me from the family Christmas celebration all day. During the gift opening, he threw a tantrum that I got a Sonic Lego set. He also got a very large present, a picture from Stranger Things, and proceeded to tease me about it since he had a bigger present. He was acting like he was 2. We also opened our presents after everything had been handed out, and he hadn't opened the large one yet when I opened the Sonic one. The cherry on top was what happened during the afternoon. I was asked to play a game of Monopoly, and I agreed. It was a tough game, and I found myself getting stressed out from the game and from the heat. I tried to leave, but my mother was close to winning, and for some reason, she didn't want the game to end. I felt frustrated, and when I tried to leave again to have a break, she demanded that I come back and help her pack up. I forfeited the game, and then my brother decided to mock me for losing. I was this close to punching him. When I helped pack up, she guilt-tripped me about not being able to play Monopoly with her in the future. I wanted to cry. This was all because she wanted to win. The day was awful. During dinner, my brother tried to scare me as much as he could. He slammed the fridge, kicked the pantry, and thumped the kitchen bench aggressively. I finished dinner as fast as I could. He also threw a pile of clothes at me. It's not as bad as what's happened for most of the day, but I was still upset nonetheless. The next day, I was subjected to more abuse, but without it being Christmas Day. My mother tried to start something with me just because I took my breakfast out of the pantry, and my brother tried to start something just because I walked past him. This evening, I got called out for dinner and went to the kitchen. My brother was there, and I kept my distance from him. I breathe softly at a quick pace when I'm afraid, and that's how I show my fear. He knows this, and he's exploited me for it repeatedly. He teasingly told me to breathe, and after he sat down at the table, he ranted at me for discriminating him. This got my parents into another discussion where they blamed me again for everything that goes on in this household. I remembered about needing to check something, and I walked back to my room. They began to yell at me for walking away and told me I was immature. I tried to explain that I was checking something to them, but my mom screamed at me and said, "I'm not a mind reader, and I'm not your bench." When I walked back into the kitchen, I took my dinner to another room, wanting to avoid the conversation. After I finished my dinner and came back out, I placed my plate neatly in the dishwasher. For some reason, this caused my mother to flip out again, and she yelled at me for slamming things into the dishwasher when I wasn't even doing that. I walked away to my room, which is where I'm at now. She barged into my room and yelled at me to grow up and that I was acting like I was 2 and that I apparently thought the whole world revolved around me. She then brought up the Monopoly game and forgot to mention that she wanted to keep playing even though I was getting stressed. She called me pathetic and did the whole, "Oh, I'm losing, wah," imitation. I wanted to bring up what she did, but I knew that would just make her angrier. My dad agreed with her as well, and my brother yelled out his agreement from the table. I shut my door again and cried, with my brother mocking me from outside my bedroom door. I know the moving date is coming up next year, but I'm wondering if I should run away. I don't know how much more of this I can take. 100% OP needs to save up money however they can and try to get out of there as soon as they can. I don't think running away is the solution necessarily, unless OP has a concrete plan to be able to support themselves when doing so. As much as it sucks, you want to see people like this map out a plan so that instead of just running away and trying to figure it out with next to nothing, you at least have a plan to try to generate some money or have some kind of cushion. I just wish the best to OP. This next story is Karma is a freaking bench and I am loving it. This is about entitled family members. A little backstory. My dad, 52-year-old male, started drinking heavily and using coke when I was 5. He ruined our lives by destroying his business, drowning my mom in debt, hitting her and me, crapping, yes, literally, on our stuff when we tried to leave, and then destroying the house my grandpa gave us to live. My grandma sided with him, putting his happiness over mine all the time by forcing me to have a relationship with him, by guilting me for not giving him a chance. I guess my eldest aunt hated us for his own mistakes and even told my cousin that my dad was just fine in rehab, but when he came home, he relapsed. Therefore, it was our presence causing this, and even excluded me from family gatherings multiple times, especially when my cousin Talita came back from Australia after 10 years and she didn't invite us to the barbecue. Didn't invite me to a trip to her ranch where all my cousins were there and having fun and openly posted about it. She also has become a pastor at the church in her little conservative town and acts holier than thou by looking down upon us and other people for their race, sexuality, and choices. The family got divided when they called me one day for a lunch after 6 months and told me right then and there that my grandpa's inheritance was gone and that I had no reason hounding them after my mom, a few months prior, got into a fight with my grandmother after she stopped paying my child support. She paid in my dad's name since he has since become, I guess, brain dead with all the drugs he used. I am 19, but in my country, the parent pays until the kid finishes college by law. And yes, I got a job now, but back then, I was unemployed since the situation is difficult in my country, and there aren't jobs for younger people without 5+ years of experience, plus the skills. And my mom had to literally overwork herself to the point her back is now freaked up. And she stopped paying without warning, thus leaving us in quite a difficult position so she can put some money in my dad's retirement plan. He doesn't even work, thus choosing his grown butt instead of my well-being. Cue to today, my Aunt S, my fairy godmother, and my mom got together to get me and my cousins after a year of hardship for both close families. Apparently, my aunt has told my mom that my grandmother is showing signs of dementia and won't be able to cover my dad and his shenanigans, or care for him by babying him till their death. And my pastor aunt has yet again managed to knock down a few of her relationships with the family by berating one of my cousins, male 29, by embarrassing him in front of friends after she saw him drinking with his friends. A few people in the family got angrier with her holier-than-thou attitude and decided to drop her. It's only a matter of time until she vanishes into her stupid ranch and dies alone without family, besides her poor excuse of a husband and her pit bulls because of her actions and thoughts. Karma is truly beautiful. People like this tend to live forever and also tend to live long enough to essentially emotionally exile any person that should have been close to them. Our next story is entitled Bio Dad. My bio dad was never really around when I, 38-year-old female, was a child. He was an alcoholic and spent any free time drinking or passed out from drinking. He was never physically abusive, but he did many things that traumatized me for life. Once my mom finally left him, he had no contact with us for years. Luckily, she eventually met an amazing man that became my stepdad, and the man that will always be my real dad. Important later. When I was 15, he tried to come back around. A few months into this new man act, my mom asked him to take me to the doctor for an extremely painful foot infection. I was prescribed pain meds and sent on my way. He went and got my prescription and kept every last pill for himself. He knew I would tell my mom, so it was another 15 years before he came back around again. He really seemed to try this time. We took things slow and actually began forming a real relationship for the first time in my life. On Christmas 4 years ago, we planned for him to come stay with me and my boyfriend. He canceled last minute, but I told him it was okay and we'd see him another time. That was apparently too harsh, and he went no contact with me. I don't know if I was supposed to beg him to come or what. 2 months after Christmas, my now husband proposed. It was a quick engagement. Engaged in February, married in June, extremely small wedding. I sent BioDad an invite and didn't even get a response. Either way, I planned on having my stepdad walk me down the aisle. He was the one that raised me and dealt with the trauma I had from my childhood. He was the one that was always there for me no matter what. When my BioDad found out, he flipped. He disowned me, told me what a horrible daughter I've always been, that I've done things just as bad as him, which is a flat-out lie and proves how delusional he is, that it's a slap in the face for him to not be able to walk me down the aisle. He rewrote my entire childhood like he was some saint and deserved to have these father-daughter moments. I let all of the anger for him out at that moment and told him exactly how I felt all these years. We haven't spoken since. My wedding day was the most special day of my life for more reasons than one. My stepdad walked me down the aisle and was beaming with pride. He was so thrilled that I asked him, but 5 weeks after the wedding, I get a phone call that shook my whole world. My stepdad was admitted to the ICU and it wasn't looking good. He passed away 1 week later. My wedding was our last family get-together, and I'm so thankful that I have those memories to cherish, and that I didn't allow my entitled bio dad to ruin one of the last moments I got with my real dad. Honestly, bless the guy that stepped in and was a real father and was there and supportive for OP the way OP needed. And I'm glad that OP was able to have that last moment when things can be ripped away from you so unexpectedly and so fast. Our next story is, my entitled mother threw a fit over her gift that she picked herself. Originally, she wanted this designer bag in a bucket bag style. It sold out, so I picked a bag similar to it in the same color, different style. Weeks later, she sees another purse that she likes and asks if I can return the other one and get this instead. Before purchasing it, I told her several times that I didn't like it or the material the purse was made of, and mentioned that the leather was too soft because there was already scratches on it, and she insisted I get it. So I did. Christmas morning comes. I ask her if she wants to open her gift. She says no. Later after dinner, when everyone was opening their gifts, she pushed it off again. She finally opens it and starts complaining. She complains about how it was all messed up and how she wanted to return it. I told her I couldn't because it was discounted and sold as is. She responded that she was still going to return it. I reminded her again how I told her I don't think she should get it, and of course her response was, "I don't remember that." I'm fed up and now heartbroken because no matter what I do, it seems to never be enough. I asked how it was possible that she found fault and disliked something that she picked out herself. Another thing that makes this whole situation worse is she didn't get anyone anything for Christmas. Not even my little sisters, whose birthday was on Christmas. Update, my mom told my brother that she no longer wanted the purse because it wasn't what she expected, even though she saw it in person and picked it out herself. Not only that, I asked if I can talk to her so I can express how she made me feel, and she told me she didn't want to talk to me because I was rude to her. 100% OP needs to stop seeking any kind of validation from their entitled mother. I don't think they're ever going to get it, and I think it's going to be this lifelong struggle till they're probably no longer even around. I mean, if you haven't done it by now, I don't think you're ever going to bucket bag that she desires so much or not. I'm willing to bet if you got her something she did genuinely like, she would just turn around and flaunt to everybody else saying, "Isn't it nice what I picked out for myself?" This next story is, I want to move closer to my family over my husband's. My husband, 26-year-old male, and I, 27-year-old female, are expecting our first child next year. We live in a state up north and our families live in 3 different states, 10 plus hours away from us. We have no close family in the state we live in, state names not given due to privacy. My mother-in-law and brother-in-law moved not too long ago to a state down north. They previously lived in the same state we're in. My parents live in the Midwest and have been there since I was a kid. My older brother and sister-in-law also live in a different state in the Midwest and are expecting their first baby too. My parents haven't moved due to wanting to be close-ish to me, but have a desire to move to my brother's state. Now that we're expecting, talk of possibly having to move has come up due to needing help with childcare and having a good support system. My mother-in-law wants us to move where she's at, but said to go anywhere where family is, i.e. parent state or bro state. My parents have voiced the same, and mom even offered to watch baby while we work. I want to stay in our current state as I love where we live, but know that moving might have to happen. I brought up moving to bro state so our kids can grow up together. I grew up with my siblings and cousins around all the time and I loved it. With doing that, my parents would more than likely move to bro state too. We've both been to bro state many times throughout our lives. I've always considered it a second home state, and I even have friends or family, besides bro and sister-in-law, there too. I think it would just make more sense to move closer to my family than his. Bigger support system, my mom has more free time as she doesn't work, mother-in-law works full-time, kids growing up together, etc. But recently, hubby talked to mother-in-law, and I feel like she's been really pushing him on us moving down to her. He's become adamant about moving there when the topic gets brought up. I gave him a couple of reasons as to why we should move where my family is, and he gave a few for moving to mother-in-law's area. He then goes on to say it's not fair for mother-in-law since she's alone. Brother-in-law lives with her, and my parents would have all their kids around them. There's 3 of us siblings. I think that mother-in-law got to him and has made him feel guilty. I have a decently okay relationship with my mother-in-law. Mother-in-law also offered to watch the baby, but we would have to find jobs where all 3 of our schedules work in order to make sure the baby is taken care of. I think that's just a lot of work to do with no guarantees we could do that. I just know having a bigger support system would be better for baby. I've voiced that I don't have any desire to move where mother-in-law is multiple times. I've told him we're going to have to look into daycares in our area and see our options, but I know they're so pricey and unaffordable. I've been trying really hard to not start drama with hubby over this, as I hate confrontation and arguments. He's super protective over mother-in-law and brother-in-law. I've really been holding back my opinion quite a bit due to this. I don't know how to make him see my side of this because he has a mother-in-law in his ear. I really don't know what to do at this point. Advice welcomed. As much as they're being all like, I'll take care of the child, I'll watch them all the time, especially considering she works, I don't know if that promise is foolproof and truly believable. I agree a lot with OP that moving to a place that has a bigger support system where the kid will also grow up in a system where there's a lot more family around them would be more beneficial. I just don't know how you're going to get through and actually have a discussion with your husband when they don't seem to be open to anything. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another crazy entitled parent story, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.